Young people have been targeted with psychological warfare systems meant to rewire their brains, lower IQs, lower brain waves, and create jellyfish, Pavlovian-controlled minions who are literally under globalist programming control. It's all admitted. And as Mike Cernovich really said very well earlier, despite the fact his audio was hammered, this is the need to confess if you have a soul. If you're not a psychopath, you realize we're all connected. This is not a good idea. This is not good. Okay, gave you some temporary power. How are those billions doing for you? Not making you happy. Not as happy as you were telling the truth. Exactly. Nothing wrong with wealth as long as it wasn't stolen and it empowers others. We have unlimited wealth soon with the technology and free energy and all this crap. It's going to be about good and evil. We're going to find out it's about where we stand has the value. And what do the globalists want? They want your mind. They want you to think like they do. They want you to be degenerate. He mentioned it. I should have led the show with it. Mike Cernovich is absolutely right. Donna Brazile now saying, investigate Seth Rich. How sensational. We've gone from the DNC saying nobody hurt him. He got killed, but it's not political. And don't try to investigate, you're a bad guy. To the head of the DNC saying, I feared for my life, and now it needs to be investigated. She is telling you what happened. We are so close to the Mueller-Hillary crime syndicate going down. And if I wanted to investigate who hired the hit team that took out Seth Rich in D.C., I'd start with Robert Mueller. That's right, you heard me say it. Robert Mueller. Here's the clip.
Were the Russians involved, in your opinion, I know this hasn't been resolved yet, in Seth Rich's death? Yes, no, or I don't know?
I don't know. I'm not part of the investigative team, but I can tell you this much, and thank you for asking about Seth. He was my child. I loved him. He worked in the Voting Rights Division. I was the vice chair over that division. He was one of two staff people. I love him. I miss him. He was a patriot, and I hope to God we find out who murdered Seth Rich.
You wrote in the book you feel responsible for his death.
Because he was my child.
Okay. I understand.
Don't make me cry.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to do that.
My child.
Let me just say, y'all.
On July 10th.
Yeah.
He was my child. Mark, I have been in politics all my adult life. The only children I have are the children that I've hired. They're my children.
So she's scared. What do you make of this? It's just sensational, Mike Cernovich, at Cernovich on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, she's a beautiful woman now. I think she is a Christian. A lot of people don't talk about that. She's a Christian woman. I think she finally, maybe God spoke to her, she prayed or found something in her heart. But when I heard that video, I actually felt sad. You could feel her emotion. There's something very deep going on with her spiritually.
Absolutely. And what do you make of all these other big truths coming out right now? I mean, they have got to be in panic mode.
Yeah, I actually bought her book and had it the minute it came down, and I read it. She admits that Hillary Clinton did not have pneumonia, and that was a lie. She admits that she herself had been concerned with Hillary about her health. She admits that other people, including doctors, had reached out to her and others to talk about Hillary's health. And this is all in the book Acts, an amazing book. So my question is, where are our apologies, Alex? Paul Joseph Watson was ridiculed. You were ridiculed. I was ridiculed. And Donna Brazile has now confirmed all of our reporting. Should the media apologize to us in a very public fashion?
Where do you see this leading, Mike? Where do you see this leading, Mike?
This is leading to other people are going to come forward now. The floodgates are open. The stories are going to come out. The truth is definitely going to come out. That's where we're headed. I mean, you can feel it everywhere. Weinstein, right? Louis C.K., Kevin Spacey. It's all part of a new zeitgeist where people are tired of the evil and they're tired of covering up for the demonic forces. And they're all going to come forward now, and even more evil will be exposed.
Let's talk about Roy Moore. I mean, there's a lot of pedophiles in both parties, a lot of perverts. So, I mean, it could be true. But I look at least one of the main ladies is a Democratic operative, works for the DNC, works for the candidate he's running against in the Senate, for the Senate. And then you've got the timing, all the fake stuff they put out on Trump, the fact this wasn't brought out earlier, the fact that it's 35 years old. I mean, again, if it's true, I say burn him at the stake. But I just, at a gut level, this just looks political.
Yeah, here's the thing that I found highly suspicious, Alex. Roy Moore dated multiple women with their parents' permission. He essentially courted them in a way. Now, I don't think that a 30-year-old man should date a 17-year-old, so I'm not here to get about that. But it's unusual, though, that he would date women with the parents' permission. Nothing happened. He didn't throw himself on them like Kevin Spacey did to a 14-year-old boy. But then there's that one story where it claims that he tried to go after a 14-year-old girl. It doesn't really make sense that a man who had been very respectful of the parents and had never done anything behind anybody's back.
I know, but as I learn more, I hear you. As I learn more, though, I don't, because now it's, I mean, I think a 35-year-old going after 17-year-olds, I think it's creepy.
Oh, I'm not defending that. Yeah, that's the thing. I've definitely, if you're a 32-year-old man, 34-year-old man, you don't need to be with 18-year-olds. That's what ultimately, though, pornography does, which is what I find interesting about the outrage from the left. They're saying, oh, you know, Roy Moore was dating an 18-year-old. And I thought, well, yes, all that pornography promoted by Hollywood, promoted by the media, that involves 18-year-old girls on their 18th
sure, that's the big popular stuff they push.
So I think,
exactly. I've not even been looking for porn before, and they're pushing, you know, barely legal. It's in hotel rooms. You see it, you know, in the adult sections. It's all there. All I'm saying is, when I first saw the news yesterday, there wasn't all this extra stuff. I think the first news didn't want to say it all, so they get sued. He's saying it's all fake. But if it turns out he's 35, courting 17-year-olds, I just think it's weird. And I'm just saying.
Oh, no, and I agree with you totally. That's why I brought it up. A lot of people are claiming that I'm defending the allegations. No, I'm saying that you shouldn't be dating 17-year-olds if you're in your 30s. I'm saying that. What is interesting, though, is he went to the parents for permission, though, right? And he didn't do anything sexual with them. He didn't throw himself. He didn't abuse them. And then all of a sudden there's a 14-year-old said, oh, he came out in his tighty-whities and, you know, was really aggressive and everything. And that to me just doesn't sound consistent with what he had been doing before that, right? So that's for me just trying to figure out the truth of it all, because if he did make a sexual pass at a 14-year-old, I've told people I'll be right part of that lynch mob. I'll bring the rope. I got no problem
exactly,
with that.
But you got this Democrat
like
operative.
This, a very, very serious accusation.
Exactly.
I'm not just going to join.
We saw all the stuff about Trump that wasn't true, is my point. So that's why out of hand I question it. And then you got the same media at first defending Weinstein. Well, listen, you're going to take over when you come back. Your mic's almost back. We're going to mess with it some more. It's definitely not the really good quality we usually have with Mike Cernovich, but the info he's got is really amazing. So we're going to come back and talk about all this with Mike Cernovich, at Cernovich on Twitter. I'm Alex Jones, at Real Alex Jones. Then later I want to ask him about the admissions in Congress that they're censoring.
What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying.
Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com.